ride or die, I guess the car is on E. But see, I ain't even tripping, cause I just chose to believe that somebody gon' come around and give me just what I need. I don't wanna see you flying, see you looking down and out, coming to me crying, saying you miss having me around. Gave you chances and you blew it, you so easily influenced. All the times you told me beat it, now you gotta face the music. I'm saying
I know that I gotta stay away from all your games, yeah. I know that I found somebody else to love me one day, yeah. You'll realize the grass ain't greener on the other side, no. You did me dirty for the last time, so now I gotta say goodbye. So now I gotta say goodbye.
I've been running away from you. I've been trying to keep my cool. I see what your colors shining through. Yeah, I do. That I do. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back. Is it too much to ask? I don't want you back. I don't want you back.
G'day. Welcome to Tuesday's stream. Today we'll be focusing on a little bit. I'm just going to be still working through PowerShell module templating, PowerShell framework module templating module, and we'll be smashing that out, getting some of that done today. So that'll be what I'll be working on today. I was thinking about working on another little project I was working on the side, but this one actually takes precedence. I kind of promised Fred that I'll get this done, so I kind of want to get this done. Anyway, so first things first, let's actually zoom in, make sure everyone can see code. That way we can actually just zoom the code. Huh? So make sure that the code looks alright for you guys. Yep, that looks good. Sweet. So essentially, yeah, it's just a module, and I'm just making some adjustments to it, which is essentially we're making, adding some features that I personally added to the module that Fred's request. Well, he wanted to know, and then I've just kind of offered to add them in, which is essentially the file interpolation, and I need to add choices, so you can actually prompt and you can actually do really cool things with that. So you can have a choice, you know, do you want to have logging, do you want to have that, and you can actually interpolate files based on that choice, and you can have multiple files grouped with the same choice. So you can have, you know, a whole bunch of functions in a file for a specific aspect of logging, and then you could have another file which should have all the other functions for logging, and then basically that's grouped by choice. So one of the things that was mentioned today, which I actually do think is appropriate, is my colleague mentioned that it'd actually be a really good idea to add, we don't need that, to add a help to the choice, and I was thinking about that, and I was actually thought that'd be a really good idea. So let's go ahead and do that. So first things first, let's actually Where's my notes? Here they are. So essentially we have notes here. So essentially this is my choice header. You can have your group name, your choice message, choice expected result, choice default. I think what I'm going to do here is add a choice help message, like so. And then essentially what that will translate to inside a file is you could just have a PS1 file with this data in it, or you could just have your template file with this content in it. So essentially it'll then go, okay, this is my choices, and then anything flagged with that specific group name as a choice will also be included into that change. So yeah, so let's go ahead and make some changes here, because I wanted to add some help. So let's go and find that. So we go ahead and run invoke. So I've added this function here. Where is it? Where's my function? Rechoice. Here it is. Where is it? Alright, here we go. So this is rechoice. So essentially we've got message, expected result, default value, integer, count limit. So default value can be null, help value can be null, so we will accept null for them. And we're just going to call this message a help message, like so. So now what we can do in here, you can see we're building out the message. We're actually appending default value. So now what we can do is we can say the man is live. Yeah, I was supposed to stream on the weekend, but I had a LAN party. Previous week was Christmas party. Yeah, so it's been yeah. But this weekend we'll be streaming. I will be streaming PowerShell 101 live, and we'll be doing REST SOAP HTTP endpoints. So all about PowerShell on the web. So really cool stuff. So I'm gonna get a message, and I'm just gonna. Ooh. Have you done? No, I have no. Pesta unit testing's after logging. So essentially logging is next after that. It really depends on, logging might be included in this lesson, but it really depends on how much material I'm willing to teach per that. So logging, for example, is more going to be, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So Pesta, that's definitely going to be something in itself. Yeah, it's definitely going to be something in itself. So essentially, yeah, we'll go from there. That'll be a lesson for itself. I'll go message. I'm just trying to work out what I'm going to do here. Pest is one of those ones where, yeah, it's an excellent lesson. So it's always something that's really good to know. Yeah. The one thing I am going to be focusing on with that lesson is that basically when you're teaching course fundamentals on testing, why do we test? So it's not going to be like, even though we're testing PowerShell, the premise of testing, doing unit testing, integration, all those kinds of different types of testing, will apply to like the curriculum. Then basically each of the curriculum, it will apply to the concept, but then basically the tools come later. So essentially there's a different, for example, with XUnit, NUnit, Pesta, jQuery have a whole bunch of test frameworks. So you can pretty much, you can pretty much just keep there's the logic to actually understanding testing is more important than the actual tool. The tool can always come second, because basically once you understand the logic of why you write tests, if you want to go down a test-driven development approach, or do you write code and then test up, I've kind of got to the point where I'm actually more inclined to write tests after rather than test-driven development. And I've done both. It's just that I found test-driven development is much slower, where I can write the code quicker and at least have it down, and then write tests and then refactor at the same time. So I can refactor my code while I'm writing my tests. So it's a single step there versus writing all your feasible outcomes and then writing your code. So yeah. Anyway. So what we got here is default value. Just trying to work out how I'm going to append a default value to this. Oh, sorry, a help message. So the message is, and then it adds default there. I'm actually thinking I'm going to change the structure of this. So essentially when the user actually writes, like in here the message would be, oh, that's going to be tough. Oh, how'd you go with that? How'd you go with your first module publish? It needs to have a default. Did you use publish? Is it publish PS package? Is it publish PS package? Hang on. Yeah, publish module. Okay. Now, I found it very interesting because I used I've got at work I've just built a private PowerShell repository using Azure DevOps, and PowerShell's ability to connect and publish to artifacts in DevOps is very, very difficult. So you can't just use publish module, you actually have to use NuGet. That's what I had to, I worked out. And this is you could use publish module, essentially, but the problem is that you couldn't automate the process because PowerShell was still prompting for an OAuth authorization acceptance, where NuGet would actually pass the credentials through to bypass the acceptance. So you could actually do a proper deploy. So you could go, okay, I want to build my module out, and then go push it to my artifact. So it's very interesting that I think publish module is definitely more optimized for the PowerShell gallery, versus if you want to publish to a private repository, then you're kind of stuck with NuGet. And then reading NuGet packages as a PowerShell gallery. So if you register a PS repository with the credentials parameter, it would still require you to prompt. However, new PS repository is just a proxy function to register. Register PS repository is a proxy function, is it? Hang on, let me just quickly remember what it was. Terminal. Is it new? I think it's register. Yeah, register PS proxy repository is just a proxy function to register package. package source. And they literally do the same thing. So if you register a package source and then you just specify the type rather than NuGet to be PowerShell, essentially it will treat it as a PowerShell gallery. And you can then point it to your artifact, and you can bypass again the OAuth acceptance. Super annoying. Super annoying. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm trying to work out what to do here, because the message is going to be something along the lines of like, you know, A for this, B for this, C for this. And then I've got default. I think what I might do is just put, actually, I might just do something like da for help. Have you had any issues with Get80 principal group membership? No. When I did, when I was getting, that's group membership of a user object. Oh, sorry, not, yeah, user object. So if you're going to, you're getting the member of, is that what you mean? Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to append it. Ah, because they're in different domains. Yes, yes. I remember you can get it, but it's just an SSID. If I remember, that was yeah, because the only way for you to get it would be from the from a parent domain. I remember that having an issue. Because if you've got a domain control, like I remember it depended on how the domain structure was set up. Yeah, I do remember there was an issue there. But yeah, I haven't had to fun and deal with multiple domains for ages now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So I'm thinking a help message is going to be something like this. I'm just going to do this. No worries. Well, you're actually going to be able to catch me I'm going to be streaming 3 hours earlier on Saturday, so that's going to be 3 hours earlier because of I've got to head off for my in-laws' place. But yeah, like, so you might be able to catch me on Christmas on Saturday as well. Read host prompt message. Yep. If it's null or empty, default value. Before that, we probably should actually. It's switch time. It's time to make it look neater with a switch. Where is it? I wonder if I need to have a look at switch statement. I'm wondering if it can actually pass a method through. Looks like it's only doing string matching. Alright. So what we can say is way it's going to work is it'll run here and then it'll just cascade down. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. And then I'm just going to do a right host, which I'm not a fan of, but we've got to do it because PS4. And then we can break. Let's just switch there. And yeah, okay. So we can go. I'm just gonna say is null or empty, like so. Essentially, it's just an empty string. Set prompt to be default value. Break. And default. So there's 3 code execution paths here. We have, actually there's technically 4. We've got the first one here, so if you prompt for help, it'll go through and run the help message. However, that only applies if it's actually specified. If it's not, it falls out. So technically, it then becomes actual input versus an actual help message. And then if it's obviously blank, and then it'll default to retry cat. So, this is called Snack. I actually took it from, I actually borrowed it. I actually saw it on Chrissy's streams, and I just loved it. I actually it was so easy to look at. So I just, yeah, it just kind of became my favorite. I've tried everything, but just Cold Snack was the go-to. It's just really easy on the eye, which is kind of funny for being a blue. Yeah. So yeah, until retry count limit, prompting expected result. Yep. Not a fan of this, to be honest, but it is what it is. Let's give it a run, see what it looks like. Nice. Which one's Solarized Dark? I'm gonna have a look at it now. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's easy on the eye. The only issue what I find with this specific is that basically it can be a bit annoying when it comes to dealing with outputs. So output can be all pink, and then people think it's an error. And it's a bit of a pain, but nah, it is what it is. Alright, we need to run this in a separate file because, yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Could just done that, to be honest, but anyway. I'm not going to even try, I just need a tested help message. It's a good start. You can see default T thing for help, so I should be able to just go help message is that, okay. Okay, let's try this. Okay, cool. There we go. So that works. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So essentially, let's just quickly run a quick test. I'm going to write unit tests later, but I'm just going to run a quick test to make sure that if it's not specified, that it's not the end of the world. Perfect. Look at that. So it'll, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. So you can see it'll append for help. Then you can just go do that, and then you get your help message, and then you can go again, which is perfectly fine. And they'll loop again and again and again and again. So I'm happy with that. Alright, so that's done. So if we've added a help message into the read choice, which is cool. Now the next part we need to go back to is when we're creating a template. So what I've done here is so that's not mine. Essentially, I've actually changed a bit of the way that the code's been implemented. So instead of having traditionally with the PSMD template, you'd have, you know, your P. I'm just going to call it P because I can't be bothered going Alt 254. And then you'd specify your script block and then your script block replacement. Oh, sorry, your script block replacement would be like, oh, your augmented script block would be like that. I'm actually doing away with that, and my idea is to actually implement a curly brace. So essentially, you just nest curly braces to describe whether it's a script block or whether it's, whether it's inline or whether it's a script replacement. So this makes it a lot easier to add new features versus having, you know, using two sets of characters for the same thing. So what I've done here is I've got my file interpolation class created, my choice interpolation. I'll need to update this actually. I quickly just might add it now. But essentially, if you go new PSMD template, so we'll just look at file interpolation. Before all that gets run, there's a regex pattern. I've just kind of split out this regex pattern. Actually, no, this regex pattern is kind of concatenated together. So essentially, I've just added those specific identifiers, those specific patterns, so then it's able to identify it, and it just gets added to this pattern here, and then it just does matches based on in what group it found what. So essentially, those items fall down the bottom, therefore they basically apply there. So yeah. And the benefit of doing this is that I can actually simplify the code as well. So I've basically just got a single if statement versus multiple for each individual type, and whether it's inline or whether it's script. Just trying to remember what I needed to get up to here. Yep. Sorted that out. I need to drop a debugger on this. This is 100. That's one thing we need to do. I'll need to build it and then drop a debugger on it. Do that there. Throw the user add file mess to specify location in the error. Okay. We need to create the object and add it. Okay. So I've got to add the choice interpolation. But before we do that, I'm just going to clean this up. Hmm. Choice. Um. Is not valid. Data follows the name value format. Okay. Next part. Choice data. Hmm. Okay, so now we can do it. Choice interpolation. We're gonna build this like a factory. Yeah, we're gonna build like a factory. So group name, choice message, expected result, action of true, process of true. And then we can just have public. Oh man. Add default values. So by default, it's going to use this constructor, and that'll overload, which is fine. But then it can just use the methods to tack on anything it needs to add. Man, my fucking tongue hurts. Okay. And then we just add the string data. So we need group name. Yeah, let's go to the next one. The processor is true isn't there. Oh, it is. It should be. Oh, it is there. I just missed it. Um. Stat and default, that's what I need to do. Like so. Where's the default value? No.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move.
Alright, that's done, I think. Which is good.
Make it last forever. Stop in time. Yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide.
Just thinking about it. I think it looks good.
Hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies,
Okay, now we need to work out the name. So, in files where file path. So this will be yeah, I don't know. Because choice name can't really get calculated until you can kind of decompress the content. Hmm. 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 Problem with choice interpolation is you have a file path that can be used as the name to an extent, but I can't really just use the problem is it doesn't even exist. No. So that needs to be fixed as well. Because file path happens after it, so that needs to be flipped. Essentially, this needs to be like this. Files.values. So we've got templates, files values. So we files, and then values, which will be that's going to be an issue. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I think I'm going to have a think about that. Just going to add a to-do there to revisit that. Alright, so that's done now. So I'm thinking what we can probably do here is okay, so I think that's pretty much that ready, with the exception of those two items. I'm going to have to build it and work out why it's doing that, but that's something that I'm going to have to do. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's go back to Invoke. Then we have to work out how to put all this together. There we go. So it's basically prompting him for there. For each parameter and template data parameters. If I'm going to a new parameter, what's it creating? Template.files. Right, so what we can do here my idea is I want to interpolate the files before the prompt. So if you have specified content, it will, in essence, dynamically load it in. So and then prompt. Just try and work out how to do that, because that's going to be a pain. Yeah, right, so we're going to do region. So the way it prompts is essentially it prompts Hmm. Alright, so it invokes it and reads it from here, and then it stores it in memory. Once it's done that, it then iterates through the files and then adds them in. Okay. Hmm. I think this is not actually. It can be whatever order it needs to be because it's just reading the content in. It's only when it writes it this needs to be first. So this can actually just go files and then choices. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm just going to be back in 5 minutes, 2 secs. Alright, I'm back. Trying to fix my liners in my mouth. It's not working. Got a really sharp side on the left side and it's killing my tongue. Okay, so we can just do our file interpolation in here. So template data parameters. Might as well just borrow the code. It's always there for a reason. I'm not sure what I need to do here. So essentially what this code's doing is if it doesn't contain the parameter, it prompts for input. Same here. Well, I don't even need to do that. I can just do a try catch. What did they do? I'm just gonna make it a little. Hmm. This is actually something really cool. I'm going to double splat using the same parameters. Okay, so this content, so that's the content. Okay. Hmm. So I'm going to check, make sure that this has a name. Yep, it's got a name. Sweet. So got a name. Yep, perfect.
They all thought I wouldn't make it. They all think that you're faking. But seeing ain't believing. I know now. I take all your stupid, burn it as my fuel, yeah. 'Cause we're running out of time. So I'm gonna make it mine.
Hmm. I actually don't really like that. Let me just do something like that. That'll work. Let's change that song. And then we just do that. So that's file interpolation. Choice interpolation is going to be interesting. Yeah. Hmm. It's going to be a lot more interesting. Hmm. That works. So obviously this is all done tested. I'm just going to write it all and then I'm going to test it after. So we're now just going to go for each choice. Just thinking how I'm going to do this. Let's clean up some of those errors. Definitely gonna need to retrim that line on my mouth. Jeez, it's painful. Okay. So essentially choice is going to be similar. Except there's no choices. Not really sure what to do here after this. I think I'm going to prompt, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. Just want to have a look at what other people have got. So if there's a choice, I'm going to need to tweak this code a bit, I reckon. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. So if it's not in there, then prompt. But it doesn't have no. It doesn't know what to prompt for. That's the That's going to be the problem. It doesn't know what to prompt for. I think if it doesn't contain it, it throws a terminating error. Because I don't know. Right now, I'm not sure. I'm just going to throw a terminating error. So now I can go. So we can build the parameters based on the input. Saving me have to write crazy logic. The only thing we need to do is remove the name. So I don't like that. We'll probably write this into a method. Let's do that. What's the dictionary? Chuck that over there so I can see it. Aha. So my teeth, my back line is hurting, so I'm trying to work out where it's sticking into my tongue. Okay, so we could say to dictionary. Like so. And we just need to make it a dictionary type. Okay, that's fine. Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. It needs to be able to group them all. I might make a note in there. So essentially, what I'm thinking it needs to do is it needs to check the parameters. If it's present, perform script parameters. Whoops. I can just do that within script parameters. That's what I'm thinking. So essentially, if it's in memory, go retrieve the memory value. If it's not, prompt the user, and then store in a memory. And that will be it. So let's go back to choice interpolation and finish our I don't like choice message. I want to rename it. Oh yeah. I forgot about expected result. Because it's not a type. I'm going to declare a PowerShell hash table. I don't know how. Oh, I'm just going to keep going with it and we'll deal with it later. I'm wondering whether I just rewrite the commandlet and it just takes the object. It'll be an easy way to do it. I think I'm gonna leave it there for today because I think I need to have a think about if do I really want to have that, and do I just rewrite, refactor this so that it's just rather than all this, it just accepts the actual choice interpolation object itself, and then just goes with it, because that would be a better way to deal with it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do for today. I think I'm just gonna leave it there for today. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, and I'll be back on Saturday. We're gonna be doing one-on-one live. And Matt will be with PowerShell on the internet. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll see you on Saturday. See you then. Bye.